Welcome to the CTCL Virtual College Days. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. First, thank you for joining us. You can use your Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website where you registered. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters from the College of Wooster.
Okay, thank you so much, Anna. And thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Shelby Ficari. I am one of the Senior Assistant Directors for Admission here at the College of Wooster. And lucky for you all, I am joined by one of our current students. Hiku, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Hiku. I'm a senior at the college. I'm a biochemistry and molecular biology and history double major. I'm originally from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And my involvements on campus include Alpha Gamma Phi, Black Student Association, African Student Union, and effective altruism.
Thanks, Hiku. So just to echo what Anna said, if you aren't familiar with the Zoom Q&A feature, you can see it up here on the screen right now. We really want to answer your questions tonight, so don't be shy. Feel free to send them through the chat now, or through the Q&A, excuse me, now. We will try and leave some time at the end to answer questions, but don't worry about sending us too many questions. More questions, the better off we will be. So we're going to go ahead and get started with some quick facts tonight. The College of Wooster, as you may or may not know, is a liberal arts and science college with just over 2,000 students. And we're very intentional about this number because we believe that it's the ideal size to provide the type of residential and academic environment that's going to best prepare you for life after graduation. Now, one of the things we're most proud of is the diversity of our student body. As you can see, just under a third of our students are from our backyard of Ohio. The rest of our students hail from across the United States and from around the world, with 46 states represented on campus and 65 different countries. In fact, our applicant pool for this last year's class included applications from over 135 different countries. Everywhere you see colored in gold, we received an application from. And as you can probably see, there are some countries that aren't colored in yet, and we would love to get them all colored in. So if you're from one of those countries or you know someone from there, please send them our way. We would love to tell them more about Worcester. And this is a map of our campus. We have just over 240 acres with lots of beautiful green spaces and trees, which I promise do not look as cartoony in person as they do on the map. But if you exclude our athletic fields and our golf course, our campus is about 100 acres, so it's really walkable. It's very easy for students to get around. And often when families return from their campus tours, one of the things that they ask us to reconfirm is the number of students currently attending Wooster. And when we remind them that it's 2,000, they seem kind of shocked by this. It's because they comment not only on the size and the scope of our campus grounds as they walk around for that tour, but also the vibe they feel. It's a really high level of energy that they pick up from our students, and I love that. The fact that our students get to live in an environment that mirrors a much larger school while still reaping the benefits of a smaller institution is one of my favorite things about Wooster for our students. Hiku, do you think you could share a couple of your favorite spots on campus with our students since they can't be on campus with us tonight?
Yes, I would love to. So my number one favorite building on campus is actually Ruth Williams. It's the building that my department hails. So the entire BCMB department is from there. And the building is sort of like conjoined to a chemistry department. So all our labs and all our classes are going to be there. Aside from that, the classes are all like windowed, like there's not really a wall. So like you can actually like peek outside while you're in class, even though it's not really recommended because it takes your focus away from it. It's still a little bit of like, you still are able to experience the greenery as well as when it snows, like the wintry feeling, which I really, really like. My second favorite spot on campus is the academic quad. And that's that's the spot that I usually go to, like in the fall time, and that's like it's such an open and lush area. So I usually just take up like a mat or a blanket and just like love to picnic there. Um, and then my third one, sorry, I have a lot of places. My third one is actually the library, and I spend a majority of my time there, so I really really like it.
Gotta unmute myself. Thanks, Hiku. That's really helpful, I think, for our students to hear. So back to our quick facts. With an average class size of just 18 students, we're very committed to providing access to our professors because their #1 priority at Wooster is you. It's going to be offering you high-touch mentoring and absolutely excellent teaching. And your classes at Wooster are going to be very discussion-based and very interactive. And as you can see, our student to faculty ratio is 10-1. Now, this is a number that schools talk about a lot, but I'm going to again turn it over to Hiku to see if she can just share what that looks like in her everyday life as a student.
Yeah, so the low student to faculty ratio is actually one of the main points that drew me to Worcester when I was first applying. And how it translates to my experience here is basically that my professors are available, and their availability is like really what makes or like breaks the way you take your classes and your assignments. So like having the comfort of, well, pre-COVID, you would have the chance to stop by their office anytime, but that's still, even like in COVID times, that's still extended where you can actually like email them and you like can guarantee that like they're gonna respond in a very short amount of time, and their availability, they care. So I really like that.
Thanks, Hiku. I think it's one of the best things you want your professors to know who you are. And at Worcester, when you show up to their office hours, not only are they going to know your name, they're also probably going to know why you're showing up and what question you have. So finally, we have no graduate programs on campus at Worcester. And this is also very intentional. All of our classes are led by professors, not graduate teaching assistants. Now, it is still common to hear talk of TAs at Worcester, but here, teaching assistants are upperclassmen students who serve as more of an apprentice to a professor's ongoing class, while also being a mentor to the students taking that class. It's just one of the many different leadership and experiential opportunities that are available here for our students. Now, I understand that trying to determine the true differences between colleges can be daunting, particularly if you've narrowed your search down to private liberal arts schools that are similar to Worcester on paper. So one of our main goals for tonight, if anything, is to make sure that you understand what we believe makes Worcester different from all of the other schools out there that you're researching. After that, it's up to you. It's up to you to determine if what we are offering fits with what you hope to get out of your college experience, with your interests and your expectations. And we really hope that it does. So these are our 3 takeaways. First, that Worcester is known as America's premier college for mentored undergraduate research. Second, that our entire campus community benefits from a diverse student body, one that embraces its differences while supporting one another and celebrating traditions like no other school, in our opinion. And lastly, that we are incredibly fortunate to have a larger community around us that supports our student life, their service learning, and of course, career exploration. So let's dive into the first point. Now, I know it's common when you think of research to immediately think of the natural sciences working in a lab like you see pictured here. And yes, that is one very important type of research. But at Worcester, research takes on many different forms, and it's available in all of our academic programs. It's not only experimental, it can be analytical, it can be creative. We make sure that every single Worcester student, not just those in certain majors or in honors programs, but every student will complete at least one major project prior to graduation. In fact, it's a requirement of all of our students in their senior year. Our curriculum and our experiential learning are built very intentionally to provide coursework and opportunities for the students to not only discover, but to confirm what they are most passionate about within their major. And we refer to this experience as the Senior Independent Study, or IS for short. But as one of our chemistry professors likes to say, that is probably the worst title for one of the best undergraduate experiences out there. And a more accurate title would actually be interdependent study. since a professor will serve as your advisor and support you every step of the way throughout this project in your senior year. Independent study is one of just 4 classes that you'll take in the fall and spring semesters of your senior year, and it's essentially a class of 1. It's you and your professor meeting on a regular basis, working together to determine what you are going to do for your project. Now, some of you may be really excited about this concept, while others may find it a bit daunting. So please, please know that our professors have developed a 4-year plan that is meant to gradually introduce you to what research can even look like within your academic major and to prepare you well for the project ahead. In fact, our curriculum includes these opportunities within every single year that you are on campus prior to your final year. In your first year, you'll take a class called First Year Seminar. This is a class of 15 first-year students, and it's going to be taught by a professor who will serve as your academic advisor until you're ready to declare a major, which you don't have to do until 2nd semester of your sophomore year. Now, this first-year seminar class is meant to introduce you to how to best tackle and analyze text in particular, and it really lays the foundation for all of our students in their college writing. In your second year, you can participate in what we call sophomore research. This will allow you to serve as an apprentice to a professor's ongoing research project while gaining some just really practical research skills in the process. And then in your third year, students will complete junior independent study, or junior IS for short, which is a semester-long experience within your major. And many students consider it a practice run for their senior independent study. And these are all just a few examples of the very intentional ways that Wooster prepares you for its senior capstone project over the course of your first 3 years on campus. Now, Hiku, you are right at the start of your senior independent study. Do you think you can share with everyone a little bit about how you found your major, what your academic trajectory was like, and how you determined what you wanted to study for this senior project, and maybe also explain what's going on in this picture?
Okay, so I mentioned a little bit earlier that I'm a double major. So that would mean my IS is a combined IS. So I am going to so my topic is on the ethical debates of using embryonic stem cells. And my biochemistry side explores the question of why did we get, what are the alternatives to using a stem cell research without actually in a very ethical way, in a way that does not breach on the concerns that the public has. So for that, I'm going to be simulating a biochemical environment in the computer. So I'm going to be doing a lot of coding. And my history will be exploring the debates that led to the point where we are right now. So I came upon my topic as part of my sophomore research project. I was working on it for, I think would make it 2 years now. I literally pride myself in building it from scratch. And my sophomore research advisor is my IS advisor now. So going back to that really close relationship that you end up cultivating with the small student to faculty ratio, because she was my professor my freshman year. I took a class with my advisor and then ended up being one of her mentees for my sophomore research. And then now she's my senior IS advisor. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey and my topic. This picture was taken my sophomore year. It was my friend turning in her independent study. So this is a very a tradition that we all hold dear to our hearts. So basically it's upon completing your senior independent study, you turn it in and then you end up getting a little pin that says I did it with the number for when you turned it in, sort of what number you were. That's a little pin that you see on her shirt. And you also get a Tootsie Roll that you pose with. So yeah, this is us posing for her turning in her IS. It's a very festive day, and a lot of seniors are very happy because it's like a combination of all the work that you put into beginning your freshman year. Yeah.
Thanks, Hiku. And it's so fun to see the seniors turn these in. You can almost see the weight lifting off their shoulders as they pass their independent study over the registrar's desk. And then they get to come out here and take pictures with a giant Tootsie Roll. And people that like don't even know them will be out there cheering them on. It's really fun as a staff member to come and watch the seniors turn them in every year. And then we celebrate them and their accomplishments. So I cannot wait for you to turn yours in, Hiku. I hope it goes well, and I wish you the best of luck on your project.
Thank you.
So why is this also important? Well, it's because we know that this type of long-term project develops the skills that graduate schools and employers are seeking most. They're looking for independent judgment, creativity, project management, the all-important time management, self-confidence, and of course, strong written and oral communication. And it's easy for us to say that we are the country's premier college for mentored research, but it doesn't hurt when you have organizations like Gallup, Niche, Princeton Review, and US News endorsing this fact as well. Here's one example that we love to share. Since 2002, US News has surveyed college presidents, provosts, and deans, and has asked them to identify schools that really set the standard in two areas, in undergraduate research opportunities and in senior capstone experiences. And only 2 schools have made both of those lists since the inception of the survey. One, as you probably guessed, is the College of Wooster, and the other is Princeton University. Now, at this point in the process, you've probably picked up on another theme that really infuses our campus, and that's mentoring and mentorship. So this is the perfect time to introduce you to APEX, our Academic and Career Advising Center. Now, APEX provides mentorship in a variety of ways because in addition to your academic major advisor and your independent study advisor senior year, you have this whole center full of staff and faculty beginning your very first year on campus who are there to support you on your academic journey and to help you find some practical and in many ways life-altering opportunities to take what you learn in the classroom and apply it in the real world. Now, APEX houses a couple different offices. We've got academic advising, our learning center or academic support, our center for entrepreneurship, our office of off-campus study, experiential learning and community engagement, that includes internships, and then of course, career planning. Now, Hiku, do you think you can share a little bit about how you've used APEX over your first 3 years? And how you plan on using it over your final year at Wooster?
Yes, I would love to. So my freshman year, I remember there are like trips that APEX organizes. They're called city treks. And basically it's, you apply for it, you get accepted, and then you go on this experiential learning trip, and then you end up like connecting with alumni, and sort of, it depends on the type of the subject area that it's concerned with. So mine was around, I think it was the first STEM oriented city trek they had. So we were like visiting like labs and people that had professions in that were chemistry majors or biology majors at the college. So it was a very it was one of my favorite experiences my freshman year, and I really, really liked it. We went to Chicago, and I think it was like 4 or 5 days long. And yeah, like it's a bunch of students and some professors and the organizers from APEX. So it was a fun experience. How I do plan on using the APEX moving forward is through the career planning. I'm a senior, so now I have to start looking for jobs, and I haven't been there yet since the school started because I've been focusing more on IS, but I have been in APEX like for crafting my resume, for writing, coming up with a cover letter or any of that stuff. So I look forward to getting all the assistance and all the direction from them.
And I'm sure they will be happy to help you. I cannot emphasize enough how great a resource APEX is for our students, and especially in that they help you from the minute you get on campus to the minute you are walking across that stage at graduation. And when you combine the varied experiences in APEX with Worcester's really unique approach to mentored research, it's not surprising that you see great results. 96% of our graduates are employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduation, and 91% of our students get accepted into their top graduate or professional school. And I can't think of a better note to wrap up our first takeaway on than that. And now I want to turn to our second takeaway. Because Worcester recognizes that an excellent education requires bringing together many different perspectives, experiences, and ideas. And our global community of learners come from farm towns, big cities, dozens of faiths, cultures, perspectives, languages, and this is really central to our mission and to the learning that happens here on campus. With 17% of our student body made up of international students as well as US citizens living abroad, Worcester is Ohio's most international campus, and we rank 19th among all private liberal arts colleges in the United States. And as we know, it is now more important than ever to learn from others across the globe. Worcester's commitment to an inclusive learning environment started at our founding in 1866, when our first president shared that it should be a place of studies for all. Since then, we have really remained committed to this principle of creating a diverse, equitable, welcoming, and inclusive community. And in light of recent events, our current president has reaffirmed this by stating that Worcester stands against racism in all of its forms and is continuing to learn about and engage in anti-racist work to create a safer and more equitable community on our campus. And I'm happy to say that our students engage in these important and difficult conversations that impact both our campus as well as organizing for larger social justice movements nationally and internationally. And we wanted to just share 2 examples with you. This is a picture of the Galpin sit-in of 2018, when students decided they wanted to advocate for more support for Black students on campus, and they did that by peacefully occupying one of the administration buildings here at Worcester. And you may be familiar with the international climate strike of 2019 that our students decided they wanted to participate in as well. This was organized by a couple of our student organizations, but as you can see, many students across campus as well as faculty and staff came out to join in the march and in the gathering that they had on campus in response to the climate crisis emergency. And we love seeing our students participate in these types of events where they are making sure that they are aware of what's going on and that they know the part that they play. And I think part of that comes from the fact that our students don't just stay at Worcester. Our students take advantage of study away opportunities in over 60 different countries. And we refer to this as study away, since many students choose experiences both in the United States as well as abroad. Now, these can look like a traditional semester, a year-long experience, or a summer program. And as Hiku mentioned, one popular experience that we do are our popular Trek programs. These are going to be classes that are led by Worcester faculty, and they vary in theme and location every year. Now, some treks are going to be embedded in a spring semester course, with the experience abroad taking place during a school break, while others are going to be standalone courses where the whole course could potentially take place abroad. And the time abroad varies anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, and the offerings change every academic year as professors get new ideas and propose new programs. Past programs, just for example, have traveled to England, Thailand, India, and Greece. And I think one thing that makes Worcester even more special is that you do have students from all over the world, but they're coming together to embrace each other's differences while also having this incredible sense of community that you just don't get to see at most schools our size. First, there is a lot going on campus, with over 120 different student-run organizations planning events throughout the year. Students are rarely bored at Worcester. And now I'm again going to turn this over to Hiku for her area of expertise to talk a little bit about the different student organizations that we have, their diverse interests that they represent, maybe a couple of your favorite events that you've attended on campus, Hiku, and how students go about getting involved.
Yes. So like Shelby mentioned, we have an extremely diverse range of interests in the student organizations that we have here. It ranges from athletic groups to theater and music groups. We have my favorite one that was like a lot of my close friends are part of this a cappella group, and they just founded it like last year. So they just founded it from scratch last year. And I remember being so proud to hear that they actually, like, even though it was a new org, it competed at a national level, and they had like a lot of competitions with other a cappella groups from other schools, and I thought it was really, really impressive. Groups and events that I've been part of are, my freshman year, I was involved with an interfaith organization where people from all walks of faith just come together. And every week we'd have a concept that we discuss based on how we learned it. And it was a very welcoming, a very attentive environment. And I remember it like feeling really good and wholesome in that environment. So I just remember that really well. We also have an organization that like host like food oriented things. So we have like this organization called Let's Talk About Food, and every week or like every other week they host like events. My favorite one is when they have bubble tea, and sometimes they organize bubble teas when you can just go and they would have all the stuff and you just like make your own bubble tea. On the topic of tea, I also attended a tea ceremony organized by the Japanese Student Association, and that event was so nice because they gave a little historical background on why tea is significant in their culture. And then we all treated to tea and like certain specific ways that you drink tea. So I thought it was really good. And I just want to say that even if you're not an active like member of the organization, you can still engage, because most of the time the events that are organized are open for the whole campus. So even if you don't really like strictly like see yourself joining to one like group, you still can like figure it out as you go. I want to talk a little bit about the groups that I am part of. This is a recruitment event for Alpha Gamma Phi. We have recruitment events like 3 times in the beginning of the fall semester. And I think this was the first one, which we have early in October. And yeah, that's all my sisters all together. And this is the Black Student Association's fall ball. Yeah, so this time it was colored. The theme was regal, which were like, normally we have themes. So for this time it was gold and white. So that's why you have everyone here. Most of these people are also part of African Student Union. So like there's a lot of like overlap between our members, and we normally like throw events together in collaboration. And then this is Effective Altruism. This is a group that it's actually, we call it Effective Altruism Wooster because there's a lot of like, it's a system of events, and it has like satellite groups around the United States, around the UK. And basically what we do is we try to think of sustainable ways to do the most good in the world using philosophical arguments to basically compute ways that we can make the most impact with the limited finite resources that we have.
Thanks, Hiku. That's so helpful to hear just from the student's perspective, what you do, what you're involved in, and just the wide variety of activities there are available to our students. And we've mentioned a couple times about some of our traditions. And so we wanted to take a moment to share a couple with you, because this spiritedness that you pick up on our campus is really most easily found in our traditions that connect our generations of alumni. So this is a picture of one of my favorite traditions. This happens at the start of every home football game on Saturday morning. I should back up, because if you aren't aware, the Wooster mascot is the Fighting Scot, and our school color is the McLeod tartan, which is this yellow plaid you see on the kilts. Our whole marching band wears these kilts, and we do have a bagpipe section, which you see here. Now, before the start of the football games on Saturday mornings, our bagpipers will line up at the top of the hill with the football team behind them, and the football team will link arms And they will begin slowly processing down the hill while the pipers play Scotland the Brave. And about halfway down the hill, you will see the football team kind of break their ranks and come just rushing through the line of bagpipers while they continue to play. It's so much fun, and it just gets your blood pumping on a Saturday morning, gets you pumped up and ready for the game. You can kind of see in this picture the legs at the very top. A lot of people will stand behind the football team to watch this happen, and then they migrate into the stands to watch the game. And Hiko, I think we've got a picture of one of your favorite traditions as well.
Yeah, one of my favorite, like my most favorite tradition at the college is filling the arch. So this tradition takes root from a legend, a semi-legend, or a tradition that there was this idea that if people could successfully fill the arch all the way to the tippy top with snow, that class would be canceled the next day. And so the night before, when we have, like, I think this just happens on the day we get the most snow, everyone, like, with their trash baskets, just goes outside, fills the trash baskets with snow, and just like cooperates to make sure that all the snow like is filled all the way up to the arch. And my favorite aspect of it is the fact that there's a sense of community and a sense of like cooperation that goes into it. And I don't know, I just really, really like the environment.
It's definitely one of our most unique traditions. It is just so much fun. And yeah, you can probably see in the picture, there's people using a laundry basket, trash baskets, there's storage containers, because no one really brings a shovel with them to college. But it's so much fun to see the students try and do this. And I just have to say, if you ever meet any Wooster alumni, please ask them about this tradition. Guaranteed they have a story of when they were either successful in filling the arch with snow, or they were unsuccessful, but they still tried and had a good time. And our third point for tonight, which we never want to forget, is that as a student at Wooster, your home is not just our beautiful campus, it's also the bustling town of Wooster, Ohio. And we have many prospective students who are exploring schools very similar to us. And it's pretty clear that similar sized liberal arts institutions are not located in major metropolitan areas. In fact, some of them may even be in pretty isolated areas, like a village versus a town. So we love to brag about our city of 30,000 people because it provides the amenities and opportunities that most larger cities provide while still being nestled in a safe and close-knit community. Now, Wooster is just 1 hour away from Cleveland. We're 40 minutes from the Akron-Canton area and about an hour and a half from the state capital of Columbus. And students love that they can take advantage of the shops, restaurants, and movie theater on our north end of town, whether it's getting your Chipotle fix, studying at Panera, running into Walmart when you need to pick something up. But they also can enjoy the individually owned coffee shops, boutique stores, and restaurants that are found in our downtown area. And this is a picture of our downtown area during one of our winter events, obviously very pre-COVID. And Wooster is also the county seat and hub for many businesses, and students can easily find service and internship opportunities, whether it's in our local school district, the county courthouse, our financial firms, or our hospitals. And we have 2 hospitals just blocks away from campus. We have a local community hospital, and we have a branch of the Cleveland Clinic, which you see pictured here. Hiku, do you think you could share one of your favorite spots to go off campus?
Yes, I would love to. So my favorite spot to go off campus is this small Greek restaurant called Matsos, and the food is like so organic. I don't know. It's a lot of it's not just, it really feels like a taste of Greece, if that makes sense. Like, and yeah, the owner is so nice. So I really like going there. I don't know. I consider it my spot personally.
Nice. I love that. There's so many good restaurants and cafes downtown, and you'll find almost every Worcester student has their spot, their favorite spot to go when they're just looking to get off campus and to have a meal in most commonly the downtown area. So that's Worcester. Again, America's premier college for mentored research, a global, thriving campus community of 2,000 students who support one another and celebrate their diversity. And finally, a beautiful campus located in a city that provides student life and internship opportunities usually only found in much larger cities. And we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you for joining us. You can see both my email address as well as Hiku's email address on the screen. If you would rather reach out to us privately or ask us a question, please feel free to do so. We are really meant to be a resource for you through this college search process. And I want to make sure we have some time to answer your questions. So I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A yet. But now is the time to put them in there if you want us to elaborate on anything we've shared tonight. If you have questions about anything in particular with Wooster, I'll maybe give it a minute. Okay, we've got a question. Can you tell us about religious life on campus? Hiku, I'm going to send that one to you.
Yes, so religious life on campus, there are a lot of organizations that basically are established for like people that follow that religion. So there's Noor, which is an Islamic organization for followers of the Islamic faith. We have Hillel, which is the Jewish students organization. And I don't know much about Christian organizations, but I'll be more than happy to share once I do figure it out.
Yeah, and I can share a little bit about those. So we do have both some Protestant as well as some Catholic Christian organizations on campus for students. We have a college chaplain, and we have a whole office of religious and spiritual life that is found within our Center for Diversity and Inclusion. That is just another resource for students who are looking for community in that way, who want to get involved. We're more than happy to help them get connected with the student groups, as well as, again, like I said, our Office of Religious and Spiritual Life. Good question. Do we have any others? Maybe I will talk a little bit about applications. That's always some helpful information to have. So Wooster has 3 different application deadlines. We've got early decision, early action, and regular decision. You can see all of the application deadlines and notification dates on the screen right now. For those of you that may or may not be familiar, early decision is our legally binding agreement. It states that if you are admitted to the College of Wooster, or any school that you apply early decision to for that matter, that you will deposit there. It's a great option if you are 100% sure that Wooster is going to be your home for the next 4 years. I encourage you to apply ED. If you know Wooster is one of your top schools, but maybe you're not quite ready for that commitment of early decision, then early action is a wonderful second option. You have a same early notification, so you'll know by the end of the calendar year, by the end of December, but you don't have to make your decision about applying until May 1st of next year, I guess, technically. So it's a really wonderful option. Most Wooster students end up applying early decision or early action. But we do also have regular decision with the deadline of February 15th. For all of you out there today, you are on top of your college search process. There is no reason for you to wait until February to apply. I'd encourage you to go for early decision or early action. And of course, we want to talk about scholarships and financial aid. Wooster offers both. And so you can see here our merit scholarships. We have our Dean Scholarship, which goes up to $36,000 a year, and that's renewable for all 4 years. There's no additional work you have to do to apply for that. And then we have a couple other competitive and performing arts scholarships, which you can find out more about on our website, that do require a little extra work. There may be a competition, a video you have to send in, an interview you have to do, an essay you have to write for those. If you're interested in need-based aid, we only require that students fill out the FAFSA, and they can do that anytime after October 1st. We do not require the CSS profile. And we also have the Early Aid Estimator. This is a tool that is available for students currently now. You can do that. It'll be live through November 1st. And this is a really wonderful tool if you are just interested in finding out what a Wooster education could cost you and your family. It's about a 2-week turnaround. You can submit information about your transcript, your academic history, your extracurriculars, your family's financial situation and information. And we'll take all of that to determine your mock aid package. As some of you may know, Wooster did decide to go test optional this year, which we're really excited about. This is a permanent change for us. If you decide not to submit your test score, we make no assumptions as to why you did not. If you do submit your test scores, that's completely fine. For merit scholarships, we are test blind. So we do not take test scores into consideration when we are determining your merit scholarship amounts. That was a lot of information. I hope it was helpful. Are there any other questions out there? Maybe we'll give it a minute or two. Nothing. Hiku, do you think you could tell us about one of your favorite classes?
Yes. So one of my favorite classes is, wait, I have a lot.
How about one that's not in your major?
Okay, that helps. So one of my favorite class that's not in my major is the art history class that I'm in right now. I've never taken art history before, so I was at first really intimidated, but our professor is so she's so fun. Like, the class is a lot of fun. I just don't know how else to describe it except it's a theatrical experience, and it's so nice, and I look forward to being in that class every time. And yeah, that's why it's my favorite class.
Nice. That's a good answer. Oh, here come the questions. So we're going to try and get through these real quick. What type of mental health services are available on campus? So we do have a student wellness center that does offer counseling appointments if that's something that you need. We also have some wonderful opportunities that are more so just about mindfulness, building a mindfulness practice for students. So we have both of those options. And then we had a quick question about living in dorm options. Wooster is 99% residential, so all students live on campus all 4 years. We have a couple different housing options. We have residence halls, we have suite style living. We also have some community houses where students can get together with a group of friends, come up with a community service project, and apply to live in a house together. That still counts as on campus. After your first year, you decide who you want to live with and where you want to live on campus. But we're happy to, if you have more questions about residence life or mental health services, please feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to kick it back over to Anna. I think we are about at our time.
Yes, so thank you both so much for your presentation, and thank you everyone for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to check out the full schedule and sign up for additional sessions. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings. Thank you all for attending. Bye now.